This morning, Bloomberg Politics and Purple Strategies released our latest Slice poll. This one was focused on likely voters with an annual household income of $100,000 or more. The poll found that in a four-way race, Hillary Clinton leads with 41% of the vote, while Donald Trump carries 37%. Compare these numbers to Mitt Romney's performance in 2012, where he won this group of rich people, 54% to Obama's 44%. We're joined now by the managing director of Purple Strategies to talk about what we found. But Doug, here's the first question I have for you. Why do we care about how rich people are going to vote?
It's a great question. I think that what's most important is looking at the different divides in the electorate. And when you compare what we found here, which shows Clinton in very good shape compared to Romney, you compare that to what went on in our poll of less educated voters, you see a huge schism in the electorate, big divides. And the real question is, can Trump put together those groups, the coalitions of those who support him by strong measures, and win the election?
Right. It is a strange thing, right? I mean, the basic deal here is that rich people normally vote for Republicans, and in this case, Hillary Clinton seems to have the advantage. Just talk a little bit more about that previous poll and the schism, because it seems to me like maybe in addition to education, it's one of the biggest schisms that the new kind of schism that this election is producing.
Absolutely. There's been a divide in the electorate during this election that we've seen for months now. Back in June, Pew compared some of the results and found that the difference between white college-educated women and white downscale men was dramatic, and it's something that's growing. And if you take a look at our polling, you see the same thing. You have wealthy, well-educated voters, generally well-educated, that is, supporting her by 4 points. You have white downscale voters, less educated voters, supporting him by 22 points. And the thing is that this type of divide goes deep. It goes way beyond just the vote. On some of the things that campaigns like to measure. For example, take a look at cares about people like me.
Right.
Among the wealthier voters, you have Clinton with an 11-point advantage, right? Among downscale, white, less educated voters, you have Trump plus 16. Another thing that's of critical importance in campaigns, we'll fight for the middle class. Right. You have high-income voters believing Clinton would do a job by 9 points. Trump by 18 points among white, less educated voters. It goes on to shares my values, and it goes on to is ready to lead the country on day one. It's almost like there's two Americas, two groups of voters, as John Edwards might have said. But it's unbelievable that they look at the candidates in such incredibly different ways.
Doug, an interesting question we asked that produced an interesting result. Amongst these wealthy people, we asked who would be better, which candidate would be better for your investments? What was the result, and were you surprised by it as I was?
Yeah, I was pretty surprised. What we saw was it's one of the places where Trump holds a pretty substantial advantage, a 9-point advantage, 45 to 36. They said that Trump would do better for their investments. But then we took a look at those people that thought one of the candidates or the other would do a better job for their investments. And for those who said Trump would do a better job on their investments, basically those that agreed that Trump would make them richer, he still doesn't carry 17% of those. You have 17% of voters who said they would rather lose money than vote for Trump. And that includes 7% that are currently voting for Clinton and 10% that are undecided at this point. So it's really quite something to see such a divide even among wealthier Americans.
Doug, beyond our poll, take 20 seconds because you watch all the polls closely. How would you handicap the race currently, nationally?
Right now, I'd say that Clinton actually has a little bit of momentum. While we are in the field over the 4 days, we usually don't like to go through this in detail, but we definitely saw some movement towards Clinton. And if you take a look at the national polling right now, it does appear that there was a dip during the week of her health problems, where she had undoubtedly a bad week. But if you take a look right now, it's moving back to where I think is the normal place of the race right now, about a 4 to 5 point advantage nationally for Clinton. Other states will carry along as you see that, which again brings up the importance of these debates. It's really the time when, if you look historically at elections, when if there's going to be any movement after the conventions, it happens then.